This is I-24 News live from Tel Aviv. I'm Ariel Margali. Thank you for tuning in. Israel's sixth day in its war with Hamas in the south, with tensions growing up in the northern front in the border with Lebanon and Syria. These are some of the latest updates. The IDF has been attacking Hamas targets in Gaza overnight, specifically Hamas tunnels that have been built to smuggle terrorists and weapons from Gaza to Israel and to Egypt. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will arrive in Israel today amid growing regional tensions and Washington's commitment to support Israel in defending itself from Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iranian aggression. More and more families in Israel have been receiving notices about their missing family members. As of today, more than 1,200 Israelis have been confirmed murdered by Hamas, and more than 3,000 have been injured. Overnight, there were no rockets fired into Israel from Gaza or from Syria or Lebanon. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called Israel to allow humanitarian assistance to enter Gaza that has suffered more than 900 deaths since Israel began its retaliatory attack. The Israeli parliament will today approve the entry of former Minister of Defense Benny Gantz's opposition National Unity Party into the war cabinet and the government.
We are fighting with all our strength, on all fronts. We went on an offensive. Every Hamas member is a dead man. Hamas is ISIS, and it will be crushed and eliminated, just as the world crushed and eliminated ISIS.
The state of Israel will be the strongest state in the region. It has the most powerful army in the world. It has the best people in the world. We see it with one plane after another, full of young men coming back to defend their home. And they already feel this force in Gaza, and they will feel it in Lebanon if needed, and the whole world will see it.
Ariel Assaran joins us this morning. He's in Sderot. Ariel, the latest from you.
Right, so as you mentioned, a quiet night here without any rockets launched from the Gaza Strip since just moments before midnight. However, there have been continuous Israeli strikes in the Gaza Strip throughout the night. Now, we're receiving, every day that passes, we kind of get more and more information that help us build a bigger, clearer picture as to what really happened here on Saturday. And in his daily morning briefing, IDF spokesperson Daniela he gives some key pieces of information that help us understand what was going on. Mainly the main question, how was the army caught so unprepared? So on that question, he said that we had indications the night before that something was going on, but no specific intelligence, no pinpoint alert of such an attack that was impending. Obviously, there's also the reports, in addition to this, of the Egyptian warnings. We heard that also from the Egyptians via international news outlets, but also yesterday from an American lawmaker. So indeed, we're getting more and more indications as to how much Israel knew before. But in addition to that, spokesperson Hagari said that between 1,000 and 2,000 terrorists managed to make it back into Gaza. And that's a staggering number, because if you add to that the official number of terrorist bodies found inside Israel, which the IDF says stands at 1,500, we're talking about at least 2,500, between 2,500 and 3,000 terrorists took part in Saturday's attack, and that's at a minimum number, according to indications. Now, last night, IDF attacking dozens of sites, a lot of them also the naval commando of Hamas, but also Nukhba, their special forces. These soldiers, these terrorists led the breach, led the fighting on behalf of Hamas on Saturday morning, and the IDF saying that much of the intel that helped carry out this wave of attacks was received from interrogating many of these captured Nukhba fighters.
Thank you, Ariel. We'll be back with you shortly. And President Biden referred to the reports about 40 Israeli babies and children who were beheaded and burnt by Hamas. That's according to IDF officers who were in the scene in kibbutz Kfar Aza.
I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever. Anyway, but there are countries in the region that are trying to be of some help, including Arab nations that are trying to be of some help. So, anyway.
Colonel Miri Eisen, the former head of the IDF Combat Intelligence and the former advisor to Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Miri, thank you for being with us every morning and helping us make sense of events as they unfold. Israel is under pressure now to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza as the strikes there continue. And yet, the IDF continues to say that we haven't seen not even the beginning of what Israel is planning to do in Gaza. What is Israel planning to do in Gaza? Is it planning to send troops on foot into Gaza?
Hamas have ruled over the Gaza Strip when they violently took it over in 2007. That's over 15 years ago. Hamas are a terror organization, and as I've called it before, a hybrid terror organization, which is part of that area with 2.2 million people that they have not cared about and uses human shields. So what is the IDF? What are the security forces going to be doing? For the first time, certainly since Hamas took over, we are going to go in and try to, the term I'm going to use is eliminate. You can't eliminate it completely, but we are going to crush the infrastructure itself. That's going after the Hamas terrorists, after the different operatives, that goes after those who are still holding anti-tank weapons, different types of booby traps. They're going to try and do that in that sense. This is an area that's urban and heavily populated. So going on in is physically going into the different neighborhoods that are in and around opposite that heavily urban area. We're doing something impossible that the Palestinians have said. They put it out on their Telegram channels that we are telling people to leave the neighborhoods because we are going to go in and demolish these neighborhoods that are full of the terror capabilities, the terror operatives, and that you can only do with a ground incursion. Will it happen today? Will it happen tonight? Will it happen tomorrow? It will happen. We're not going to allow this time. And when I say this time, this isn't around. This is an unprecedented massacre attack, and we understand. And I do agree in this case with the Prime Minister of Israel. Hamas on October 7th showed that they are ISIS, and what you have to do is crush it. You can't eliminate it, by the way, but you can crush the capabilities.
Okay, let's talk about that last sentence of yours. We've seen instances in which regimes were toppled and then rose again to power the day after with even more vigor and more vengeance. It's not possible to topple Hamas completely or to change it with another regime, is it?
It isn't. And in that sense, that perhaps is like, if you're supporting the Taliban because they truly represent Afghanistan, and how do you or don't you crush them in Afghanistan? And here we are, Hamas are a hybrid terror organization. And I say that because they are a heinous terror organization, and they also are a Muslim social strong network inside not just the Gaza Strip and the entire Palestinian arena. In their charter, they not only call for the annihilation of the Zionist entity, that's us, Israel, they also call for that Islamist kind of, not the same perhaps as the Islamic State exactly in what they want from their Islamic Muslim nation, but it is overwhelmingly the same ideas in how they approach what they're going to do against us. So these are very strong feelings. I'll share with you in my teaching, I'm also a teacher, and I'm the director now of the Institute for Counterterrorism at Reichman University. uncertainty. I just started in all of this that's happening. When I teach people, and maybe the viewers have heard me do this before, but I explain how they recruit into terror organizations, and Hamas is a terror organization. And I'm being cynical right now, which doesn't work well on TV, but they don't call people and say, hi, do you want to come kill people and behead them, which is what they're doing. They talk about different issues so that the narrative, the framework of these terror organizations, of a hybrid terror organization like Hamas, doesn't sound in their language in the way that we absolutely see them and define them, and that they're heinous terror organizations. But that hybrid aspect, part of it is the perspectives, is bringing in people who feel that they don't have leadership and that they don't control their lives and that they don't have a future because Hamas doesn't give them a future. And you bring them in, and they just where it takes them hand in hand with their call for the annihilation. They were told to come in, kill whoever they saw, and they've been training to come in and kill whoever they can, and in so many different ways. Their terror doesn't mean that they don't know how to do it. They train to do the terror.
Yeah.
And I would expand afterwards, and we're part of that on the whole perception warfare, because they want to scare us. They want to terrorize us. That's the term.
And we understand that more than 3,000 terrorists took part in the attack on Saturday. Now, I want to bring into the conversation our correspondent and anchor, Guy Azriel, here in studio with me. Guy, and a land incursion would also mean a lot more deaths on the Israeli side. Sadly, this is on the agenda, and Miri Eisen said this is the only option. This is what it seems like the government is heading towards. Two questions. One is, when is this going to happen? And two, is there a way to do this without many more soldiers paying with their lives?
Unfortunately, on Saturday, the state of Israel has changed. The conflict with Hamas in Gaza has changed, and whatever was possible until Saturday will not be allowed anymore. The Israeli public would not accept anything less than that. If anyone had any ideas that it is possible to perhaps live side by side next to Hamas, next to a terror organization that has both the will, of course, to destroy the state of Israel, to murder Jews as many as it can, and the means to do so, well, that reality or that concept has completely failed, and Israel, the IDF, the people of Israel will not allow that to exist anymore. Israel has already suffered a major blow, the biggest blow since the war of Yom Kippur, the biggest civilian blow in Israel's history. This is the biggest terror attack in history, period. If we're talking about 2,000, 3,000 terrorists committing one terror attack in one day, that is the biggest terror attack in history. Obviously, there will be a price to pay. I think the people of Israel understand that this is a time of emergency, and the fact that we are seeing this emergency unity government really emphasizes the urgency to do so. As for the timing, I leave that to the heads of the IDF. First of all, the target that was...
It's been 6 days, though. What is the IDF waiting for?
The IDF, first of all, wanted to stabilize the situation on the ground in the communities. We also heard that the IDF Gaza Brigade has been split into two. One that is in charge of taking care of the fence, all the holes in the fence, securing that area, and another one, a reserves unit that is supposed to protect the communities that are left there, the communities that were so badly hurt. So we are seeing some, very few, but still some incident inside Israel. We saw Palestinians attempting to cross in through one of the holes with cars yesterday, also through sea. So the first target is to stabilize the situation on the ground, and then the forces will be ready to move forward once the cabinet, and I think that's another thing that is very important, the waiting for the cabinet, for that new cabinet, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, together with Defense Minister Benny Gantz and the new partners, Gallant, the defense minister, and the new partners, Benny Gantz and Gadi Eisenkot, will sit in that narrow cabinet as well.